We start today with a quick Chazara. Today's learning is Ilan Nishmas, Yosef ben Yom Zev, ben Shaga Favel. We started by the two dots, and today's Gemara goes right into it. We were like kind of in the middle of, we were mid-sentence when we finished last time, so the Chazara, even though it's always important, is like very critical to like today's learning. The Gemara starts with Hashda Amnet on Gimel Amid Aleph, towards the bottom of the page. The Hashda Amnet Medina Ve'ir Ve'ir Lidrasha. Now that we learned that Medina Ir Ve'ir is coming to teach us a specific limud, a drasha. So the pasuk also has another double word mishpacha. So the Gemara is saying, now that we know that Medina is teaching us something and Ir is teaching us something, mishpacha lemay also. What's mishpacha coming to teach us? Because if we're learning from Medina, we're learning from Ir Ve'ir, we have to also learn a limud from mishpacha, family and family. Amr Rabbi Yosef Bachanina. Rabbi Yosef Bachanina says, Lahavi mishpachas kehuna levius shabbat navidasan avon l'shmoya mikra Megila. The limit that we're learning from Mishpacha, family and family, is that the families of the Kehanim, of the Leviim, and the Yisraelim, who do avoid the Beis HaMikdash, all are mevatel. They all set aside their avoid the Beis HaMikdash to come hear the Megillah. Tani Namehachi, we have a brayso also like this that teaches us Kehanim by Vidasan, Leviim b'duchanim, Yisrael b'mamodim. Kehanim with their avodah, Leviim with on their platforms, Yisrael b'mamodim, and Yisrael on their watches. They all are mevatel their avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, and they come to hear the Megillah. From here they rely on the yeshiva of Rebbe. They pass in halacha on this. They learn a kal v'chomer, and that's how they halacha l'maisa that they leave their Talmud Torah and come to hear the Megillah. The kal v'chomer is kal v'chomer ma'avodah. Avodah sheichamura mevatlin Talmud Torah. Talmud Torah the Kol Shekain. So because Avodah, they learn the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, they're mevatel to go hear the Megillah. So Talmud Torah, which should be the stricter one according to them, the Kol Shekain, wouldn't that be for sure something that you would have to leave to go hear Megillah? So the Gemara asks a question on this. Avodah chamura mi Talmud Torah. But now you're going to tell me that Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash is more chamer from Talmud Torah. It's more strict than Talmud Torah. I've haksiv. We have a pasuk. Vayihi b'hoyis Yeshua b'Yerichai. When Yeshua was in Yerichai, Vayisa Einav Vayar. I think he was actually outside of Yerichai. He's right by Yerichai. It was basically before the battle of Yerichai. He looks up and behold, he sees a man, what appears to him as a man, standing opposite him. Fast forward, he bows down to this man. How could he have bowed down? Rabbi Shua ben Levi says you can't bow down at night to somebody that comes to you and says hello. You don't know who it is. You can't bow down because this person might actually be a shed. So the Gemara clarifies and says, no, this case is different. Shani Hasam Amalek Yanis Artzava Hashem. It's either Michal or it's Gavriel. It seems to be Machlokes if it's Michal or Gavriel, the starts of Hashem. I saw two different shotim in that. But either way, it was the master, the master of the legion of Hashem. He was the head, the general. I guess right. You say Sartzava, the general of Hashem's army. So that this case is different because he couldn't have been a shed. He said, so the Gemara asks a very obvious question, maybe it was a shed and he was lying to him. How did he know that it was actually? So we have a rule that shedim don't just say the name Hashem, levatola. Okay, now we're going to go further. Omar loy. So Michal or Gavriel, whichever way we're learning it, the malach who comes to greet him, he tells him, this afternoon, you were mevatel the tamid of the afternoon. So basically, there's a carbon tamid that we bring in the morning, and there's a carbon tamid that we bring in the afternoon. And Yeshua, with preparing everybody for Milchama, this was a big war. Like fighting Yerichai was a massive event. I think
they sent spies. I think I'm learning teaching in Archai. He sent
Rachav, right?
And then Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon and Kalabifin went ahead, meaning it was a serious operation. It was a very strong city, and they sent agents ahead of them to see what's going on.
Yeah, I remember learning some of that in Navi. It's very interesting stuff, actually. But I think this is the first real war that they had. Yeah. So, I was trying to learn through the Psukim a little bit just to give me some context of what was going on over here. See, Yerichai was a massive fortified city. So the event of being able to take over Yerichai was a huge thing. they all right before this they all got the bris milah because the Klal Yisrael didn't have for most whoever was born in the desert didn't really have bris milah. So maybe like the Kohanim, maybe for Sheva Levi, possibly some of them gave bris milah, but Pashas, most of Klal Yisrael didn't have bris milah. Even in Mitzrayim, they didn't have it. Right before we left, the Moshe went around did a massive
bris milah.
Right. If he would have had, so this was a massive event. So I don't want to say that Yeshua wasn't like such a perfect person. Chas v'sholom. It's not my. I don't want to say it in that way, but they were very busy preparing for Milchama, and for whatever reason, I think even according to Radak, they or the Rashba, they did bring the carbon tamid. It just wasn't brought with all the Kohanim Levim and Yisraelim, because a lot of Mefarshim have a problem with that. What they just forgot, like they just. So it seems like they may have brought the carbon, but there were no like the Yisraelim were busy with preparing for war. Whatever it is, I mean, I guess we could learn the whole Navi, and then get back to like starting, but then, that's not really the plan over here. I'm just trying to give some context of what was going on. So Yericho was a very fortified city, and the only way we were able to penetrate was Hashem gave it to our hands. Hashem made it that Yeshua could.
It sunk into the ground, the walls.
Yeah, the whole thing is like a very. Also, there's Shalom Alechem. He had to take off his shoes, Yeshua. So like the Mefarshim say that the whole taking off the shoes is showing that Hashem is the one who's
fighting the
right. Which I thought was interesting because this parasha also we have with Moshe taking off the shoes, the same concept. So Emesh bitaltem Talmud shel bein arbaim. In the afternoon, you're mevatel the carbon Talmud of bein arbaim. Va'achshav bitaltem Talmud Torah. So this is the Malach saying to Yeshua two things. One of them was that you were mevatel the carbon tamid, and the second one is that you were mevatel Talmud Torah. So it was mevatel Talmud Torah. So now we're learning that it was the night, and at night is not a time of milchama. So in those days they didn't do war at night. They camped. They rested for the night. So like now you're not oisek in milchama, because obviously if you're oisek in milchama you can't you can't learn. That's there's a lot of times soldiers in the front lines can't just be sitting there learning. So even though our real milchama that we do is learning, that's the only milchama that we do. So he said. So the Malach says to him, "Bitaltem Talmud Torah," because now it's the night. Now the night is So what's your you didn't learn. Amaloi. He said to him, Yeshua said to the Malach, Aleiz mehen basa. Okay, so tell me which one you're here for. Which one you're here because of the Talmud, or you think? Now, the reason why Yeshua is asking him this is because his sword was out of his the holder thing. I forgot what the word is. I'm sure the Rav knows.
Sheath.
The sheath, yeah, it was unsheathed.
Malach sword.
The Malach sword was out of his sheath. So Yeshua saw this as a sign that he's really deserves punishment. So because he was standing there with his sword out, if not, his sword would be in its thing, in its sheath. I'm sure there's a Yiddish word for that. I would love to learn.
The halter.
The halter, right?
The holster is for a gun, but that's yeah.
So anyhow, so he says, but which one is the one that I would really be chayav misa over? That's why he's asking. That's why Yeshua is asking this. Amaloi, the Malach says to him, Ata basi miyat. Ata basi. I came now. I showed up now. So I showed up now is for the one of now. The one of now is Talmud Torah. Miyad vayolan Yeshua b'laylahu. So miyad, right away, Yeshua went and he learned, which is not what the pasuk is really saying, because it's really connecting a whole bunch of psukim that are over 30 psukim long. But basically, by the next war, which is basically right after the war of a place called Ai, so over there it says Vayolan Yeshua b'laylahu b'toicho emek. Vayelch Yeshua b'toicho emek. Vayolan Yeshua. A lot of times the Gemara connects a few psukim from this pasuk, a few words from this pasuk, a few words from that pasuk, and makes it all one big thing. I think part of the idea is that we should go back and learn the psukim, but I'm not sure if that's why, But this is a very normal thing. Tosfos says it, and I think Rashi says also. This is like a normal thing for the Gemara to connect a few words from here, a few words from there, and then we have to go back and learn it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, by the next battle, which is the next event in Tanakh after Yerichai, is the battle of Ai, and over there it says Vayelech Yeshua Vayolan Yeshua B'Laylahu B'Soicho Emek, and Yeshua went to sleep inside the Emek, inside the valley. Now, Rabbi Yochanan.
What's a valley?
When we say a Emek, what do we mean a Emek? Emek is a valley, right? So what does this have to do with us? Melamed Shalom be'oimka shel halacha. We're talking about the Emek HaTorah. We're talking about the depth. Emek is also the depth. The depth of the Torah, of halacha. When he went to sleep learning like Haravin.
But ligging and learning.
Yeah, he was really ligging in learning. Rabbi Shmuel Ba'unya says, God will time Torah, Yoisi Makrovas Tamidin, Shenema. Atabasi. But Rabbi Shmuel Ba'unya says the Talmud Torah is greater than bringing the carbon to Midim, Shenema, Atabasi. He says, I came now. Now I came, not because of the Talmud, I came because of the Talmud Torah. And the Gemara like Hasha, Had the Rabbim, Had the Yachid.
What's the kasha? The Torah is greater than carbon.
Is it a question?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we started off as a kasha, but I'm not sure, I'm looking.
This is the end of the limud. The end of the limud that we're bringing down. This whole thing that we're bringing down is a.
We assume that Avoid, the Kavachaymer that Rebbe made, that they stopped learning because of Megillah, was both of that it's more that Avoid is more
than Talmud Torah.
Yeah, and Avoid, and they Mevatel Avoid is of a short Talmud Torah. So then what's the kash over here? I'm just trying to follow the trail. Avoid the Chamir Metal Torah. Is Avoid the Chamir Metal Torah?
Shmuel Anis zogt.
He came on Talmud Torah.
Good Talmud Torah, Yosim Akruvus Tamidin.
Good Talmud Torah, Yosim Tamidin. Oh, so that's the kasha.
That's the kasha.
So this is the kasha, right? The kasha is from this Gemara with the Malach. It comes out that he came for Torah. He wanted to take out a sword.
Right. So why is it a Kavachaymer? Right.
So the Torah taught right. So you see that Torah is more important than. Right. So that's the kasha.
Right. That's what the kasha. Yeah, I'm saying everybody's on the same page.
Okay. I was speaking to myself out loud. Okay.
So I'm the Gemara like Hasha. Had the Rabbim, had the Yachid. So the Gemara is differentiating between Talmud Torah the Rabbim, like what we're doing right now, and Talmud Torah the Yachid, which is what we do when people just don't show up. Like Shmili Unga, he learns more Yachid, right? Like you don't.
So now you're on camera.
Yeah.
Locked in every night.
Now you're in the nude.
Talking about the sink.
Oh yeah. Macha Brucha, yeah.
The podcast. Okay.
Okay, frag the Gemara, Udi Yochid Kal. You tell me that a single person learning Torah is a Pasha Dezach, is Kal. Aiva Hatanan. Now we're going on a major tangent. The Hatanan, we have a Mishnah. Noshim b'moyed ma'anois, avaloy metapchos. When it comes to Cholamoid, and there is a mess, there's a levaya. So women, they used to sing like a cry, a sing. I think it's more of a cry.
The Svardi thing, I just had a Svardi chuppah, right? How do you know? You know how to do it, David. Come on. The Hillary.
Right, but this is a sad version of that. Yeah. So exactly how to do that, I don't know. But they had a cry that they would cry out, and the Mishnah says, Nashim b'mayed, in Cholamayed, right, on Yontif for sure, you can't show any Avelis, right, but on Cholamayed, the women do this this cry that they do. Avaloi metapchos. Metapchos was another thing they did. They hit themselves like this. They hit on their chest, and this was like a very. It would be ma'ir other women to like get in, and then it was something that everybody mourned at the same time together. So nashim b'moed ma'anas, they could cry out and all these cries. Avaloi metapchos, but they can't beat their chest. Rabbi Shmuel Aimer im hayusmuchus lamita metapchos. Rabbi Shmuel says he differentiates. If they were close to the mita, which is the coffin, or they didn't use coffins in those days, they just used the bed or the board, and then they dropped the person. If the people who were right near, and I guess if they saw the mace, they were right near, so then metapchas, then they could beat their chest. Rabbi Shmuel Aimer. Barashay chadashim b'chanek b'purim me'anais u'metapchais b'zeh u'b'zeh. So Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah, and Purim is more kal than Chol Hamoed. So then they could do this me'anais u'metapchais. Avaloi mekainais. Oh, now there's another form. Mekainais is where one would cry out, and then they would answer with a cry. So this is like another higher form of mourning.